Awesome, it's great to be here. My name is Sabrina Ramonov, and I've been in AI for over a decade. I took my first AI class in 2011 at Berkeley, okay? And I built and sold an AI startup to a huge enterprise AI company. And for the past decade, I have been obsessed with one thing: using AI not to replace me, but to amplify me. Because the most valuable currency in the world isn't money, it's time. And AI is the ultimate tool to buy back my time and create massive leverage, okay? So I'm gonna talk about what that means for me and exactly how I did that. In the past 15 months, using the exact methods I'll show you today, I've grown my personal brand audience from 0 to 1.4 million people, okay? I've grown from 0 to 500 million organic views on social media. Guys, I only make content 1 day a week, okay? 1 day a week, okay? And with all my spare time, I decided to use AI to vibe code a little app that's called Blotato. And I've grown that from 0 to thousands of active paying customers, okay? And guys, that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is that I have no team, no employees, no investors, no partners, no budget. I use the lowest cost, non-fancy tools, no paid ads. I have nobody to report to. I'm totally just a solopreneur. Okay, that's the craziest part. 10 years ago, this wasn't possible. But today, this is possible for everyone because of AI. With AI, one person can have the leverage of an entire team. And today I'm going to show you how. How I use AI to amplify myself as a content creator, as a thought leader, and solopreneur. How I use AI to research, write, and design 1 week's worth of content in 1 morning. Okay, let's scroll here. Now, the process of content creation is actually very simple, and it hasn't fundamentally changed in the age of AI. Step 1 is coming up with ideas. Step 2 is creating your actual content, whether it's a TikTok video, a LinkedIn post, or an Instagram carousel. You have to actually create the content, usually a couple of revisions, edit it to your liking, and then when you're ready to go, you hit publish. And this last step is interesting too, because you can do things like recycle your past high-performing posts. You can repurpose your content into new media formats. But what's new here is not that the process has changed. What's new is that you can plug AI into each step to save hours per week and multiply your output without spending any more time on it. And today I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Okay? For each step, we're going to talk about the old way of doing things without AI, that was manual, versus the new way of doing things with AI that's much more efficient and scalable. Okay? So let's break it down. So slide 1, let's talk about ideas. So what I'm going to show you is the before and after. The old way of coming up with ideas was very manual, and the new way. So the old way, honestly, most creators just scroll social media for a really long time each week, and they look for content that jumps out at them. Maybe it's this video you watched, maybe it's this video you watched. And then you go over to Notion or your Google Doc, wherever you're storing your ideas, and you jot those ideas down there. Another source of content is research, maybe news in your industry. What are people talking about on Reddit and other community forums? And a third source of ideas is what I call your daily activities, your daily inspiration. For those of you who are in meetings all day long, sitting in front of a laptop, that inspiration could come from a meeting where you had an awesome discussion with your internal team, okay? So this is the old way of doing things. This is where most people come up with content ideas. Now, what's interesting is in the new way of doing things, these sources are actually exactly the same. What's different is AI can analyze all of this for you, okay, in real time, in the background. So you don't have to spend 5 hours per week doom scrolling social media to get ideas. And then what AI does is it listens to everything you're already doing, listens to all of this content, and then it surfaces the top ideas that'll most likely resonate with your target audience. And how does it do that? It's because AI, as your thought partner, if you've taught it about your business, if you've taught it about the problems you care about, the problems you help solve, if you've taught it about your customers and what your customers care about, if you've truly embraced AI as your thought partner, it will be able to analyze, first of all, thousands and thousands and thousands more information than you possibly could when you sit down for 3 hours, okay? And then it's going to sift through all of that noise and surface the best ideas that will most likely resonate with your audience and target customer. This is the new way of doing things with AI. And I'm going to show you a couple of prompts. We're going to go from the very simplest type of prompt so you guys can actually implement this today. Okay, for every step of the content creation process, ideas, create and publish, I'm going to give you prompts that you can walk away with and actually use, okay? So the first prompt is give me 5 viral content ideas for my expertise. And I just put a sample in blue, like women's health. You would want to replace that with your expertise. Very, very simple. So for those of you who are brand new to ChatGPT, okay, just start here. Just start here. And I know the team is going to drop screenshots of these prompts in the chat, okay? This is the next level of that same prompt. So now you're telling ChatGPT you are a top 0.1% social media genius, and your task is to use the internet to find viral ideas. That's actually an important line because it's going to tell AI to do internet research. And notice that the last line is exactly the same. Give me 5 viral content ideas for my expertise. Now I'm going to show you the third prompt, and it does look like a lot of text, but we're just building, okay? Prompt 1 is the simplest version. Prompt 2, you're going to get a little bit better quality. For the best quality, this is kind of the more advanced prompt. So we're telling it the same things. You're a social media genius. Here's your task. We're also going to tell ChatGPT, ask me clarifying questions so that it knows a little bit more about your context and goals and what you're trying to achieve. In fact, the 2 main sections of this prompt, you can see hashtag context. That's where you put in your information. What's your expertise? What does your audience care about? What are your constraints? Maybe you don't want to show your face on camera. That changes the type of content and ideas that you ultimately will make. The second part is the output. So what do you want ChatGPT to return to you? Now, the previous versions of the prompt said, just give me ideas. This advanced version, if you try this, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to give you a full report of trends in the past 10 days, why each trend matters, the virality score for each trend. It's going to give you a full ideas table, the format for the content, the hook, the angle, why it could go viral. And it's going to analyze what other people in your space are doing. What's working for similar creators? And what are the gaps that you could fill that those creators are missing? So that was stage 1, coming up with ideas, okay? Now let's talk about stage 2, which is actually creating content. And just like before, I'm going to talk about the old way of doing things versus the new way of doing things. And this one's kind of funny. OK, so you have your brilliant idea from step 1. The next thing that 99% of people do is they open their laptop and they stare at a blank page. And for some reason, this is the scariest thing in the world. You don't know what to write. You don't know what to say. Even though you're a domain expert, it's a blank page and it's scary, okay? But let's say we're writing a LinkedIn post with a visual carousel. And let's say you power through eventually getting through this blank page. Your next step to actually make a visual carousel, in the old way of doing things, you'd open up a tool like Canva or Adobe. You'd choose a nice looking template that you'd like. And then you manually fill out the carousel. Okay, you have to put your headline and your subheadline and maybe tweak the brand colors, the brand kit, add some images. It's all very manual. We have a blank page, and then you have to manually create this carousel. That's the old way of doing things. In the new way of doing things, this is 10 times better. Okay, let's start with that same idea. Then you're going to go to your AI thought partner. Remember, your AI thought partner knows everything about you. What's important to you, your brand voice, what's your business or product, the problems you're solving, your client testimonials. It knows all of that about you. And you're going to give it the idea, and you're going to say, hey, give me 3 variations of a social media post. Maybe the first variation is a listicle. Maybe the second variation is a contrarian post. 95% of people don't know this. Maybe the third variation is a personal anecdote, a personal story. Oh. So you're going to go look at these 3 variations and choose the one you like best, okay? You never, with AI, you never have to stare at a blank page ever again. It's completely solved that problem. It is not a problem anymore. Okay, so out of these 3 drafts, let's say you like this one the best. It contains a personal story. This is my favorite thing about AI. Now you can go back and forth, iterating with AI. I actually call my AI my sparring partner because I'm always asking it, what are my blind spots? What am I missing? What am I not thinking about? What would a really smart, rational person object to in my post? And we keep going back and forth to refine, keep refining, keep perfecting my output, okay? And this is a really important thing. This is how you embrace AI as your thought partner and ultimately improve the quality of your thinking, the clarity of your thinking. And that's what leads to amazing content, okay? Now the next step, we talked about making a carousel with your LinkedIn post, okay? So now you can also go to AI. Let's say you're done with this post, the text component. You can also go to AI and have it automatically generate a visual carousel for you. This is actually one of my favorite features in my app. I just drop my text post in there, and it spits out a social media ready-to-go carousel. And I did not have to create it manually. I didn't have to input the text manually. I didn't have to upload my photo. It just did it all for me. Okay, so that's the second step, the old way versus the new way of creating content. And now let's walk through some prompts. So just like before, we're going to start with the simplest possible prompt, and we're going to build it up, okay? If you're an absolute beginner to ChatGPT, just start here. Just start here. This is already going to blow your mind in terms of what's possible, okay? Write a viral social media post for my expertise. Replace the items in blue with what your expertise is. This is the next version of that prompt. We're going to say the same thing. Write a viral social media post for my expertise. But at the end, ask me clarifying questions until you are 95% confident you can complete the task successfully. I love, love, love that prompt tip. Because what it does is ChatGPT is now going to ask you a bunch of questions, and you're going to answer to the best of your ability. And it's that back and forth. It's helping you think through the message you want to convey. It's helping you think through all of that. And then once it knows these questions, the answers to these questions, it's going to spit out a social media post that's much more aligned with your brand. This is the advanced version. So I know the text looks small. This is the advanced version. If you're brand new, don't start here, but this is the next level. Okay, we're telling ChatGPT you're a viral copywriter. Your task is to write a post that builds authority and trust. Ask me clarifying questions. And just like before, you see the 2 sections, context. That's where you provide information about yourself so that ChatGPT can truly excel as your AI thought partner. The next section, the output, it's going to write a LinkedIn post using best practices that's learned from other viral posts. And the very last line at the end is create 3 unique post variations, a listicle, contrarian, and educational. And of course, as you get more advanced, you can swap those out with different post formats that you actually like. Okay, so that was step 2, creating content. Step 3, we're going to again talk about the old way of doing things versus the new way of doing things. A lot of people don't realize you can apply AI at this step, but it's one of my favorite applications, okay? The old way of publishing content is to have some kind of content calendar. And basically, you schedule each post out manually. And that's great. If you don't already have a content calendar, this is a good place to start and invest. But the new way of doing things is to combine AI and automation to repurpose your content into different formats and be everywhere. Okay? So for example, you can build an AI automation so that when you post a TikTok video, that's funny, I changed it into pi. So when you post a TikTok video, that's TT, your automation automatically repurposes it into an Instagram carousel. Using AI, we just went from your original TikTok video to an Instagram super nice polished carousel automatically. Another thing you could do is convert this into a long-form thread for Twitter. So a long-form text thread, taking the ideas you talked about in your original TikTok video. The third thing you could do is, let's say we're writing a LinkedIn post. We're going to convert the original TikTok video into a LinkedIn post with a simple quote card. Okay. The fourth thing you could do is take this TikTok video and repurpose it onto YouTube Shorts. Let's say we're going to put the exact same video, but we're going to optimize the captions so that they're optimized for YouTube SEO. Okay, so what this means is from one piece of content, we actually got 5 in total. Okay, and of course, you could also do this for other platforms I didn't mention here. Snapchat, Reddit, WhatsApp, Threads, Facebook, all these other platforms, okay? But the key point here is we are literally multiplying our output without any additional input. And it's super aligned with our brand voice because the original TikTok video was filmed and written and scripted in your brand voice, okay? This is the definition of leverage. This is the definition of amplifying yourself while maintaining your authentic brand voice. And that's why I'm so excited about AI, because you can do things like this. And you might not believe this works, but for example, on Instagram, I've grown from 0 to 420,000 or so followers in the past year. I don't even have Instagram on my phone. I don't know how to use Instagram, okay? I'm more of a TikTok person. But this has happened completely on autopilot. Every time I log into Instagram a couple times a month just to check if people like Dean DM me, right? I want to reply to that. But I just keep growing on Instagram completely on autopilot. I do not even use the platform. Okay, so now let's show you a prompt so that you can do this. This is a more advanced thing. Now, if you are starting out in content creation, I would say you don't have to worry about repurposing your content. This is for you if you're already creating content or you have a pre-existing content library, and now you want to intelligently repurpose your content into new formats. That way, you don't have to create fresh content all the time. You can take a past post, give it a new spin for 2025, and boom, push it out. So in this prompt, just like before, you start with a context, right? What's the new platform you're posting to? Let's say it's Instagram. What's the new format? Let's say it's a carousel. And then paste in your original content. Let's say it's a blog post or a past LinkedIn post. You're going to paste it there. And the output is you're going to get from ChatGPT a list of carousel slides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exactly what to put on each slide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So this is an awesome prompt if you are already actively creating content. Now, I want to emphasize that the new way we've talked about works. I'm living proof of it. But you might think, this sounds amazing, Sabrina, but like way too complicated. I'm not technical. And I completely agree with you. It sounds complicated. But what I try to tell everybody is to start with just one AI tool. ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek, it honestly doesn't matter because it's not about the tool, okay? Choose one of the prompts that we talked about today, just one. And then just plug the prompt into the tool. That's it. That's your first small win, okay? As you compound those wins over time, you're going to be so much more confident using AI. And now I'll give you a couple more examples of small wins that you might want to try at home, okay? So one of them is foundational. Give me 3 tips to improve this post. You can drop in an existing post and ask ChatGPT how to improve it. Number 2 is a little bit more advanced. Let's say you're in meetings all day long. You have your AI meeting note taker join. 99% of people do nothing with those meeting notes, okay? The simplest thing you could do, take those meeting notes, drop it into ChatGPT and say, write 3 posts based on my meeting. Okay, and that's another beautiful thing I love telling people, because then the final content is in your voice. And for those of you who are more advanced, take your highest performing post, drop it into the AI tool and say, find the 3 strongest objections to this post. Then write me 3 new posts, each one addressing an objection. This is for those of you who are advanced. This is how to use AI, not just as your thought partner. I like to use mine, like I said, as my sparring partner to tell me what are the strongest objections, to help me clarify my thinking, to help me think more deeply about very nuanced topics. The last thought I'll leave you with is that AI is your thought partner. And that means you should take the time to invest and teach it about yourself. What's important to you? What are your values? What's your voice? What's your business or product? What customers are you solving? What pain points do you help them solve? Okay, and remember to start with those small wins and compound them over time. Just start with some of the simpler prompts we talked about today. And before you know it, you'll be saving 5, 10, 20 hours per week. And what can you do with that spare time? You can pour it back into the 90-day goal, okay, that Dean talked about this morning. My mission is to help 10 million people like you learn AI. My name's Sabrina Ramonov. Hope this was helpful.